Here today, we are confronting something uncomfortable. Insight feels powerful, but insight alone changes nothing. Let that sit for a moment. You can understand your pattern, you can explain your childhood, you can recognize your triggers, you can even predict your reactions, and still repeat the same behavior. You see, this confuses intelligent adults because intelligence makes awareness feel like progress. But awareness is only information, and information in itself, it's not redesign. Let's slow it down a little bit more. Insight answers the question, why do I do this? Redesign answers the question, what structure must change so I stop doing this? You see, different questions, different outcomes. Inside many structured one-on-one conversations, a familiar moment always appears. Almost always. Someone says, now I understand myself. Now that sentence feels relieving. It feels complete and even like something shifted. Often, nothing structural has shifted. Understanding reduces shame, yes, but it does not automatically change behavior. Here, let's use a simple example. You realize you overcommit because you fear disappointing people, and that's insight. Next week, someone else asks for help. You still say yes. Why? Because insight did not build tolerance for disappointment. Tolerance is structural. Insight is cognitive. So cognition alone does not retrain nervous system responses. Let's take this a little bit deeper. Many people become collectors of insight over time. Books, podcasts, workshops, conversations. They can articulate their patterns beautifully, but articulation is not redesign. Sometimes insight becomes a substitution for action, and you feel productive because you understand it, but your system remains unchanged. Same old, same old. Now here's the uncomfortable layer. Insights can even become avoidance. If you keep analyzing, you don't have to disrupt the behavior. So analysis feels safe, redesign feels risky. Redesign requires visible change, and visible change risks reaction. And reaction, that is what your system might be avoiding. Let's say you realize you usually avoid conflict. You understand that it comes from early instabilities and you explain it clearly. But redesign will require staying present in disagreements. And that feels dangerous. So insight remains theory. Insight reduces confusion, but redesign, it increases discomfort temporarily. Now, this is why people say, I know what to do, but I just don't do it. It's not lack of discipline. It is lack of structural containment. Containment means a safe space to experiment, clear behavioral commitments, measured feedback, identity stabilization. Without containment, insight floats. Let's introduce something more subtle. The brain loves closure. When you understand something, it feels like completion, but system requires repetition and not closure. So repetition inside a new structure builds new behavior, and that's what redesign looks like practically. It might look like this: saying no once this week, even if your voice shakes. Ending a conversation when it becomes circular. Reducing your outputs by 10% intentionally. Now, these seem like very small structural acts, but insight alone would say, I need better boundaries, while redesign says, Here is the boundary I will practice this week. 1 is an idea, 1 is architecture. Now, here is an important clarification. Insight is not useless. It is actually necessary, not sufficient for the change that you want to see. Insight is the doorway, redesign is the building. Many people stop at the doorway because stepping inside requires change. And change threatens identity safety a lot. If you change behavior, some people may respond differently. If you reduce over responsibility, someone may accuse you of being selfish. If you stop hustling constantly, someone may question your ambition. These reactions feel risky, so insight remains internal. Let's reflect on this. Where in your life do you understand the pattern so clearly, but you continue to repeat it? What redesign have you been postponing? What reaction are you avoiding? You see, these questions, they reveal structure. Inside structured behavioral work, insight is always followed by design. Well, not immediately, but deliberately. Design includes clear commitments, gradual exposure, identity support, measured feedback, and all of these without design, insight just becomes intellectual decoration. I know this sounds harsh, yeah, but it's honest. Let's close with clarity here. If you feel stuck despite awareness, it is not because you are incapable. It may be because you have stopped at insight. This week, do not collect more explanations. Choose one small redesign, just one. Observe what happens, and that is where architecture actually begins.